as a sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. Eighth house mind.
Hello, it's me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Something very karmic is happening this week. We have Mars, Mercury's retrograding, and the North Node all touching this week, all meeting in the sign of Pisces. And this is when action meets destiny, and there are heavy discussions and conversations happening, and they feel fated for some reason. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you what it means for you personally and what it means for you globally. Now, first, let me show you the timeline. If I can find it, I know I put it on here, and we will go over each date. Here is the timeline here. March 10th, Jupiter is going to station direct in Cancer. On the 13th, Mars is going to conjunct the North Node. Mind you, I do want you to understand that they are going to touch this whole week, okay? But we'll point out the days where each planet, each celestial being is touching each celestial being. Mars is going to conjunct Mercury, retrograding in Pisces on the 15th. And on the 17th, Mercury is going to conjunct the North Node. I'll show you what that looks like. Now, before we even get started, this is going to really work well with another video I've already done. I linked it in the description box. If you're listening to this via podcast, hello, welcome. Do I sound amazing? Anyway, there is an episode I did on YouTube. It is not on the podcast, but because it's a tarot reading and I want you to see the cards, let me know if I should put the tarot readings, if they're just tarot readings and not astrology, on the podcast if you just want to listen to them. But it's about your true calling, and that is about your destiny. I did the video about 12 days ago, and it's like the astrology connects to the message. The North Node represent your destiny and your life purpose. And this week, Mars is activating all that. So putting out with the tarot reading, especially in the sign Pisces, oh my gosh, it works perfectly. So go ahead and check out that video. The link is in the description box. Check it out on YouTube if you are listening to this via podcast. Now, let's get into the sauce of the week. I normally film this live in the morning, but for some reason, I really wanted to try to do it pre-recorded, and my editing system didn't work. So here we are. I say all that to say, here we are. Okay, so March 10th, I have to have my matcha. This is my afternoon matcha, and now the day really is about my family. And no longer about me and what I do. It is more about my family. But anyway, so March 10th, and Jupiter is going to station direct. If you see here, it was retrograding. Now it's not in the red. And now it's going to go direct, meaning it would no longer retrograde. When a planet stations direct, the energy becomes stronger, the planet starts to work, and the energy becomes more visible. Jupiter governs everything that deals with expansion, opportunity, your belief system. Could be religious, could be philosophical, could be dealing with higher learning and education, but it also deals with growth. It's very benefic, meaning that it's very positive, and also very abundance and faith-based. Jupiter is exalted in the sign Cancer, meaning it likes to be here. It's like, this is fun. I like it. You can host me anytime, okay, Cancer? So it expresses its highest qualities, the best. Mercury right now currently is in Pisces, and it's retrograding, and Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces. So if you feel like you're lost in the sauce when it comes to communication skills, when it comes to people driving crazy, if you're in transit and you got lost or you lost your keys, lost the email, it's different for everybody, but Mercury really doesn't work great in Pisces, and it's retrograding, so that's it. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. But back to Jupiter in Cancer. This is why I like to do the pre-recorded, because I don't run on a tangent. Anyway, Cancer themes when it is in Jupiter, these things are going to amplify. Okay, they're going to get bigger. If you didn't know, they weren't big already, because Jupiter has been here, and it will be here for a whole year. It was here last year, and it's going to continue. I think it changes in the summer. Let me see when it changes. Jupiter in what's after Cancer? I can't think. Leo. Jupiter in Leo, June 29th. So we have this all the way until June 29th. So get excited, okay? Cancer themes amplified in Jupiter is home, family, fertility, nourishment, emotional security, homeland, protection, anything dealing with your past, anything dealing with mother, water themes, and it's very sensitive, okay? Jupiter direct can bring personally emotional healing because you start to move forward, even though when Jupiter's in Cancer, everyone's looking in the past. Everyone's looking in the past. Okay. Opportunities involving family or housing, financial growth connected to security and stability, feeling hopeful again about reflective periods. Now, this also could make people more sensitive than ever. This also can make people deal with their mom, be very nostalgic, and make them reminisce a lot. Hmm. Yeah, moody too. Cancer energy is very moody. Jupiter direct can also restore faith in something you thought was stalled. Globally, Jupiter in Cancer can highlight anything dealing with housing and safety, emotional security. Those could all be an issue. So, housing market, fertility and family policies, immigration and homeland security issues, food and agriculture, because it could be something that you deem safe. When Jupiter stations direct, we often see some legal decisions because Jupiter is a planet that connects us all together socially. And when you have that, you need to have some laws, okay? Also, some policies around family and land could be shifting. Now, March 13th, we have Mars, and it will be officially sitting at 8 degrees with the North Node. 8 degrees. 8 degrees is a Scorpio degree. That's getting deep. That's getting therapy. That's the things that are very taboo. That's dealing with things that are very financial as well, shared resources. With those things already added, then you also have Mars action, motivation, conflict, courage, physical movement, sitting next to the celestial being of destiny, karmic direction, the collective evolution. What are we meant to do right now? Okay. And when Mars meets the North Node, action feels faded. Okay. So, personally, taking action towards your life's purpose. Is this what I'm meant to do? Is this my true calling? Having some courageous decisions and changing that. The eclipse could have affected that somehow because we just had eclipse season. Confronting some fears. Pisces is about the unknown, things that you have never ventured in before, and now you are. Pisces also deals with spirituality, intuition, oneness, charitable. If you're trying to get into a charity program, if that's your calling, or if you are just willing to deal with medication, acting on intuition. Because this is Pisces, you are dealing with compassion, spiritual awareness, and emotional insight. Again, people are going to find their higher calling globally. Now, Mars is the planet of war and conflict. It is the planet that deals with somewhat of the military. So there could be strategic energy there, and they're moving in secret. There could be some conflicts, and it's about the future. Things that deal with humanitarian resources or charity or the lack of, or people who are lacking in something and their destiny and their future. What does that look like? That could be coming up a lot. And there's a lot of conflicts with that. Events involving water and ocean as well, especially the ocean, war and ocean. Pisces also governs hospitals, spiritual institutions, and hidden systems, hidden enemies, things that we cannot see, all the conspiracy theories. So action may unfold in those areas. Now, if you like what you are listening to or watching, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Share this video. You don't want to miss the next forecast, first of all, because I do this weekly. Second of all, it helps me out. Okay. I'm doing this for free. And if you want to join my community, if you want more, I have stuff about the paywall. I have like how to survive Mercury retrograding in the signs Pisces. I go into detail. I have a lot of conspiracy theories, things that I can't really talk about up front. You can pay and get it behind a wall, and I could talk freely there too. So if you want to just pay for that, it's a free cup of coffee. It's the price of a cup of coffee. Okay. Now back to what we have for the current events. Let's talk about March 15th. On March 15th, Mars is conjunct Mercury. at that point now, and now the discussions and thoughts are even more added to it. Mercury governs communication, social media like the news, technology, travel, information. Mars again is the force in action, so there could be some heated conversations about your future, sudden announcements, aggressive communication, arguments or debates, fast moving news stories, all about the future, all about what we're supposed to be doing with the war. Okay. Again, Pisces represents emotions, intuition, spiritual messages. It's also about confusion and misunderstanding. So there could be something on social media that could be causing some confusion. Whatever is announced on the news, probably don't believe it this week. Mm. As I take a sip of my matcha, there could be stuff that's very emotionally charged and unclear at first, and it's about the future and what we're meant to do. So just be aware of that. Mercury is retrograding, so this will all be repeated back. But currently, right now, if there was something that you heard, I would probably not believe it. Okay. There also could be some major themes dealing with the past here, because all of this is opposing what we're supposed to release. The South Node, and the South Node is in the sign Virgo. So the details, work, labor, all those things are going to be big this week as well. Releasing some stuff. It is important to pause before reacting, because Mars can make communication very sharp and also insensitive with it being in Pisces. Also a little confusing. Like your actions are not meeting your words, kind of thing. Okay. Globally, Mars and that Mercury conjunction here. And with this North Node sitting here, there could be breaking news, events, political debates, cyber communication disruptions, transportation issues. Again, water, hospitals, pharmaceutical, because Pisces represents drugs. Also, forgiving and releasing. That could also be a theme as well. Yeah, so just get ready for that. If you see it here, I'm trying to see the Mars will conjunct the moon next week. We also have a new moon in Pisces as well, coming up next week too. Anyway, but back to March 17th. March 17th, Mercury is going to conjunct the North Node again, repeating. But now it's in conversations, not much as a action, more of a thought, like you're writing it down. You may have some important conversations this week, reconnecting with someone from the past, especially if you're a Pisces. Sudden realizations about your life or your direction. Maybe you are going to meet someone and you're destined to meet them, and you're having this conversation. There's an email, a letter, something on social media, a lot of intuitive downloads. This is a great time this week to write down all your dreams, because Pisces does represent symbolism. So a lot of symbols could be coming your way. Just follow your intuition, emotional experiences, very symbolic events. Okay. So overall this week, I want to just overall, it's not a big week, but there's a lot of discussions about destiny. There could be some aggressive conversations. Okay, we have Mars, we have Mercury retrograding, and we have the North Node, and they're all in a cluster together in the sign Pisces. Pisces represents the ending, releasing, forgiving, the unknown, and a lot of confusion. So I want you to understand that these could be the themes. Now, on a global, if we're talking about mundane astrology, then we're talking about things that could be dealing with oil. You could be dealing with things that, again, are confusing, and conspiracy theories, a lot of secrets. Okay. Space, UFOs, those are very Pisces energy too. And addictions across the board. Okay. Heightened empathy, spiritual awakening, emotional sensitivity. Make sure if there's confusion, you have some clarity, especially when Mercury is retrograding, when you're signing anything. Not the best time to travel. There could be some arguments and conflicts traveling, and it could be ruining your future. So if you are traveling, I would not just be calm and have some peace. Oh, I do want to let you know too that these placements this week is going to mostly affect all of my mutable signs. So all my Gemini placements around, the 12 degrees to, 1 degrees, just close around those degrees. You're going to be having some issues. There's some challenges there. Sagittarius, you as well. And then, of course, Virgos, because this is opposing you. Now, this week is going to work really well with all my water signs. Cancers, Scorpios, there's a blessing happening for you intuitively, and for your destiny and your future. So it's going to work really well for you. Okay. I do want to remind you there could be a lot of water related events, storms, flooding, war, in the ocean or anything dealing with the ocean, a lot of health or hospital issues, especially anything dealing with my nurses, any medical developments, pharmaceutical news, because it does represent medication and drugs. Spiritual movements could be a thing. Information could be leaked. Secrets could be revealed. A lot of revelations, a lot of whistleblowers, investigative journalism. Secrets just somehow just get released. Okay, so this week is a heavy influence on the Pisces theme. This is a great time to release and forgive as well too. All right, let me pull some cards. I'm going to tell you what we have for you and then what we have for the collective. Which one should we do first? We would do okay, we're going to do cards, Phil. What we have for you, we have the 8 of Swords here, and the 8 of Swords represents feeling like you're a victim, feeling that you are limited. There are some negative thoughts, feeling trapped, feeling helpless. Yeah, always like this energy is very self-imposing. Now, what can you do to get out of this? First of all, it is a blindfold on top of you. What you are thinking is not what's really reality. Okay. You need to be grounded. You need to talk to people who maybe are not as emotional or sensitive as you. Maybe talk to a lot of earth signs because they could be a little bit more grounded. Yeah, and maybe even think about the opposition here, which is more Virgo energy. Really think about what is tangible versus what is just a feeling. Yeah, so this is someone who's very emotionally sensitive this week. It's fine, everyone's going through it. However, you need to forgive and release and let go and let God, and then you can flow easily. It's like someone who has a lot of mental baggage, and it's time to release that. Now, what do we have for the globe collectively? Ooh, we have the 2 of Cups and it's in reverse. Dum dum dum. The 2 of Cups in upright is about relationships and harmony. In reverse, there could be a breakup. I wonder if America is breaking up with Israel. I don't think that's happening. But there's some type of separation, some type of disharmony. This could be a disharmony between allies of one country with another. Rejection, distrust, self-love. Someone that's like really focused on them and not focusing on the other. And you are talking about globally. So something globally that is like no longer this is a partnership. Even to this could be dealing with the cups represents emotions and intuition and religion and spirituality. So a breakup of that as well. Okay. But yeah, definitely a division. We know what's going on globally with the world. But there could be some allies that are changing shifts here. And it could be starting this week. Maybe we won't see it unfold until next week. But that is what we have. All right. Yes. So that's what we have. The next video I'm going to do is on the war. I said I would do more political videos because I get a lot of views on political videos. But whatever you want to do, not whatever you want to do. If you want more of certain things that you like that I do already, please write it down in the comments and I'll fulfill that need. Also, if there's something that I haven't done and you're like, it would be really interesting if you do that, go ahead, write it in the comments. And yes, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.